r/AskReddit. Teachers of Reddit, what are you? The parent is just as bad as the student stories. Not a teacher but a lad I knew in school was a drug dealer. His mother worked in the police force, so if she ever caught him she'd be obliged to report it, so she could lose her job if she didn't. Cut to parents' evening in year 11, 15/16 years old, and he sits down with the teacher sat outside to have his meeting while I'm having mine. After a small while I phase out and I chime in on hearing the teacher say he's not doing well and failing his classes. This is towards the end, so as they end the meeting the mother shouts, "I wish you weren't my son, you're the biggest failure. Dart. I hate you, you were the biggest mistake I have ever made." Now, not to judge home life, he was a little shit but he was not a nasty guy. I just don't know how a mother could talk to their son like that, especially in front of his peers and other adults. A student got into a fight. That student called her mom, and the mom showed up with younger siblings. The mom got physical with administration. One of the younger siblings was talking shit as that happened. Edit, typo. Obligatory, not a teacher. But I have this classmate who really likes to flaunt and is infamous for being one of the most annoying, arrogant people in world, although she does get the top grades. When she went to an international competition she won several medals and even a champion award, out of probably 1,000 plus top students who represent top schools, and her mom said to the other students, "Why are you all so shit? Why can't you be as talented as my daughter?" I wasn't there personally cause I'm not smart, but when the other students who were representing our school in this competition heard her say that, it was like such a moment of clarity, cause like wow, that's where she got her arrogance from. High school teacher, and we have something called soft lockdowns, known as shelter in place by some schools, where doors are shut and locked but classes continue as normal. These are pretty common and can be used for anything from a medical emergency, want everyone out of the hallway if someone needs to be cared for, because high schoolers are nosy, to a fugitive running around the neighborhood. We've been in many soft lockdowns because parents have come to the school ready to hunt down and beat the crap out of a teacher. They usually come in the front office, can't access the rest of the school without someone opening the secured door, screaming, cussing, threatening everyone in the area. You get the picture. Often, they removed by the SRO and given a criminal trespass citation. We have a pretty high rate of fights and violence between students. When I see parents acting this way, it all makes sense. The mother who was screaming in the office, "I'm gonna hit you in your fucking face," because a tutor dared to say the kid was having behavior issues during free tutoring. Now I know why the 5 of your 11 kids in our school are terrible hot messes. Poor things don't have much of a change. Mom was banned from the building because this was the last straw. I had a student last year who was new to the school. Really nice, friendly, shy and hilariously absent-minded. He would come to school at least 2 days a week with either his shirt on backwards, inside out, or both. So I wanted to talk to his parents about how his absent-mindedness was affecting his learning. Mom shows up at 5. Dad shows up 1 hour late. We have a good chat and they get up to go. As I am walking them out I said, "I will show you the shortest way to the parking lot." The dad replies with, "I didn't park in the parking lot," so I said, "You can go the same way to the street." Full stop. He said I couldn't find the parking entrance, so I just drove around and parked on asphalt play area. Full stop. Sure enough, I walk by and his car is next to the playground. So it all came together after that. This is maybe just a bad parent story. I had a little girl in my pre-K class, age 4, named A. She was a delight. I don't think mom was actively abusing A, like, nothing to call CPS for. But it was painfully obvious she did not like her daughter. It was heartbreaking. Very smart, very well behaved, and just lovely, always got good behavior marks and was always excited to be at school. I used to braid my female students' hair after they would wake up because their hair would always be in tangles, and A was coloring and shouted out, "Miss Bomax Kent is so good at doing hair," like she was singing a song to herself. She was honestly one of my faves. Her mother couldn't stand her. Some days they'd get along fine, but more often than not I would sour as soon as her mom came to pick her up. One day, during morning drop-off, I am sitting at my desk while the kids are playing at their tables before the actual school day, academics begin, and I look up to see A being dragged by the wrist into my classroom by her mother. Her mother hauls her in front of my desk, let Essa go, and says she's your problem now and walks out. I didn't have enough time to even greet nor say goodbye to the mom, she was in and out of there so fast. I walked around my desk and gave A big hug and told her how glad I was that she was at school today, and she immediately brightened, had a great day, etc. If you mean crazy, I got this. Amos' mom is staring at us. I turn to look. Mom ducks. I walk to the hallway door and open it. Mom remains ducked. We have a 2-minute conversation with my ducked on the ground of when it is appropriate for parents to be on campus. Let's call this student Amy. Kinda quiet. Kind of quirky. Enter, mom. Hit a teacher with her car. The youngest daughter darted out in front of the car to get in the other side, against protocol. Supervising teacher literally jumps into action and put a hand out yelling, stop. Car hits hand. Driver drives away. Hospital visit required and police called. Parent signs up to read to the class. She chooses a book called That's Disgusting. Pretty run-of-the-mill call and answer stuff. Pick your nose? That's disgusting. Forget to wash your hands? That's disgusting. Until she got to, put your finger in the cat's behind? That's... Pardon? That's not a thing. Please stop introducing the idea to these 8-year-olds that putting your finger in a cat's behind is a thing. Amos' mom wants to check in on Amy, so she peeks through the hallway window during class. A student raises his hand. I teach elementary music, but I also assist in before school care. There was one boy, 3rd grade, who was sitting at a table with several other students. One girl was attempting to engage with the boy and he abruptly stands up, points at the girl, and screams, "You are the devil." Obviously at this age there needs to be intervention because you can't talk to other in that fashion or with that language. We always try and talk through emotions rather than explode. Call the mom and explain the situation. The mom's first and only response is, well, if he called her the devil, she probably is the devil. Pretty clearly can tell where that behavior comes from. I had a preschooler call his mother an asshole. This would be upsetting, except the day before, she called him an asshole. She said it quiet enough that other children or people wouldn't hear, but my coworker swore she heard her say it. We have our scheduled conference and she doesn't understand why he says such nasty things to her. I had a student who repeatedly lied about assignments, saying he had turned them in and his teachers had lost them. As a team with admin present, we conferenced with mom and dad, who deflected and provided excuses that he just doesn't like school, and, if my son says he did something, he did it. We value integrity in our family. 3 months later some friends of mine invited me to a bar a few towns away to see a band perform. Near the end of the night, I ran into the mom who was out on a date with a man who isn't her husband. From that point on, she wouldn't return any of my emails or calls about the son's behavior. She is now an administrator in another county. A bit different because this is a positive story. I'm not a teacher, but I taught for a freshman chemistry class last year. So college kids, but ones that were in high school like 3 or 4 months previously. One kid in my section was amazing, scary smart, always got great marks on assignments, asked fantastically phrased questions that the professor loved to answer, was a joy to be around during the lab section because he was so easy to be friendly with. He clearly loved and excelled at the work and enjoyed being in the environment, which definitely extended to the rest of his lab group. They were consistently the most talkative but also got the highest marks on assignments. About halfway through the semester we introduce a concept that he struggled with a bit, so he came to a few tutoring sessions and he was a joy to help one-on-one. Our 3rd tutoring session was in the campus Starbucks and went late, so he had to get his dad to pick him up because his ride to campus that day had already left. His dad came a bit early, so he ordered a drink and sat down with us for a bit, and I immediately understood where this kid got everything from. His dad was wicked smart, asked relevant questions in a way that made me think about the material in serious depth, same way that his son did, cracked a couple of dad jokes that made me laugh, and was beyond easy to talk to the point where we had stayed an extra 30 minutes beyond what we were supposed to, swapping between going over the material and cutting up. Just a joy to be around from day one until the day of the final, and the apple clearly didn't fall far from the tree. Elementary teacher here. We had a student who wouldn't stop stealing things out of other kids' backpacks. We had caught him on camera and would call the parents and they would just say no, that is insert stolen item, we just bought it for him. Full stop. Then, we get him on a positive behavior plan and create intentional lessons about empathy to others, setting goals to get what you want, the difference between wants, needs, etc. Eventually, he gets enough positive days in a row that he gets released from the behavior plan and receives a free bike as his incentive for good behavior. They were donated to the school by a local bike shop. The next day he tells me his uncle stole it and pawned it. He went right back to his old behaviors and it was heartbreaking.